All right, here we go. This is Judson Powell. This is the fastest 15 minutes on the internet or on social media. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the whatever button. Just hit buttons. Okay. Anyway, so I've been um I've been kind of laying off of the spirituality stuff lately, but I want to get back on it. And the reason why I want to get back on it is because, I've been reading all this is really wild because I've been reading all these articles and everything about how Africans and their descendants are getting away from Christianity and from the church in large numbers. So basically, what I try to do is, in most of my teachings, what I try to do is I try to um, get you into a state of mind, or not really a state of mind, but how to transition from one to the other, because I had to make the transition too. And see, most of the time what happens is you go into this big denial thing, because I mean, come on, it's been 200 to 400 years of indoctrination, mind control, and everything else into Christianity, and it is a false religion. Basically, that's what it is. And so I guess when I look at people all the time, so the first thing they want to do is, like, if you tell anybody anything about spirituality, the first thing, there's a few reactions. The first thing is they start rebuking you, calling you evil, the devil, and all that kind of stuff. So the first thing that I want to dispel is that being into African spirituality has nothing to do with being evil. Good and evil are things that come from your own free will, which is one of the universal laws, which was discovered in Africa. One of the universal laws, okay, and what I usually teach is the 13 universal laws. Love being the first law, but on that wheel, one of the universal laws on that wheel happens to be the law of free will, and also there's another law called the law of polarity. So meaning, and I talk about this all the time. You ever watch any of my videos? The first thing is that there's always an opposite for everything. So if there's good, there has to be evil. If there's evil, there has to be good. And it all is inside of everybody. We have the capacity to do good, but we also have the capacity to do evil. And once again, to be able to explain it, it's like a thermometer. It's not always cold, but then again, it's not always hot. So you're always someplace in the middle of all of those things. Even when and that's even the concept of balance. The concept, one of the meiotic, I guess that's a word, we'll make that up. Meiotic concept. It's a concept of Mayat. Mayat says what? Be in balance, be just. Have all of those things. All of those things are on the scale or on the thermometer. All right. And sometimes, you're not able to be completely good, but then you're not able to be completely evil either. So you're always on that scale and you're always fluctuating. Well, free will is a law. All right. And whatever you do, you're always basically conducting your will. And I know people in the church, they're always like, I just want to do God's will. Well, God's will is your will. Remember, generator, right? Operator, right? Destroyer. Okay, that's the Codex Inscriptus. The Codex Inscriptus, how these folks came up with it, it was like, look, we are going to encode these scriptures and make you think one thing when another thing is really going on. And the people that really know the truth, when they say that, what they're doing is they're referring to themselves. Why? Because they understand that they are God. And when you saw, once again, I'll go back, when you see that you pull it up, it's on the internet. Go there, pull it up, and look at George Washington, the quote unquote first president of the country, and he's standing there looking like Imhotep, left foot forward, with the Masonic regalia on, and basically stating the fact, or showing us the fact, that they copied after our ancestors in order for them to have formulation of this country, right? And so it's not evil. So the first thing you have to get out of your mind is all this stuff is not evil. And the second thing is everything within Kemetic spirituality or science is stuff that is here and it exists. So for example, your chakras. So and I did a teaching on the Kundalini energy and your root chakra. Well, your root chakra, everybody, so when the scriptures talk about the breath of life or the life force being in the blood and all these different things, all those things I'm talking about is your Kundalini energy, the original energy that started you breathing, started you walking, talking, everything. That's your root chakra. That's all it is. And so, but they just took people or took these metaphors or these allegories or these parables, and they tried to, just like, for example, the chakras, only what they do, they represent a wheel, just like the universal laws, they represent a wheel. So remember the song, Ezekiel saw the wheel way up in the middle of the air. Hello. That's nothing but talking about your chakras, talking about the signs of the zodiac. That's like the story of Noah's Ark. The story of Noah's Ark is the story of the zodiac. All right, Mother Zedekiah. That's what it's talking about. It is nothing more. All right, and these are what? African concepts. They're concepts that came from Kush, that came from Kemet, and that came from Ethiopia. And we know that that's true because the markings, not to mention those markings, have been found all over the world. So these hieroglyphs or the like the little images and everything that talk about these chakras or talk about, and well, how do you think that they got them? How do you think that the Pakistanis and the Indians and everything, we say, oh, well, that's evil. The same thing, the oldest forms of yoga and the oldest forms of meditation all are from Africa. They have nothing to do, but people, what we have done is we have allowed ourselves to be brainwashed and mind controlled into thinking that these things are evil. So, I remember when we were in Greenville, South Carolina, and there was a guy, and he had a karate studio, and people, that's the Bible Belt. So all these people are, like going, coming at him like, oh, what you're doing is evil, and he had to actually paint on the side of his building, look, this was before Christianity, and it was not evil. And the fact of the matter is that it's actually the best way to keep yourself healthy, whether you realize it or not. Because what? You don't have to be, in order to do yoga, you don't have to be super strong. You don't have to be super repetitious. It's non-impactful on your body. That's another thing. The stuff, the exercises and everything that, all this CrossFit and all that kind of stuff. And don't get me wrong, I'm not putting anybody down who does it, because that's good. Any type of exercise you get is good. But the practice of yoga is non-stressful on the joints and on the body. So why do you think all of a sudden, look at what happened from all that stressful exercise? People are getting joint replacements, hip replacements, knee replacements, shoulder replacements. They're having to replace whole parts of people's bodies because of the impact of exercise and playing sports and all that kind of stuff. So there is a downfall to hard physical exercise. All right. So, but those are things. Meditation, we talk about know thyself and to thy own self be true. How do you think we came up, or people came up with that? It's Kemetic. That is what their spirituality was all about. It's not about conforming. See, Christianity, and you have to look at it from this standpoint, Christianity is about conforming you to somebody else's idea of what should be. Whereas spirituality, the Kemetic spirituality and science, is learning how to change yourself for the better, knowing what you need and knowing how to conform yourself to what your purpose is, which is one of the universal laws. Remember that guy who wrote the book, The Purpose-Driven Life, and it sold 1 billion copies? You know why? Because it's a Kemetic principle. Knowing your purpose. If you don't have any idea, and how do you get to know your purpose? By meditation, by understanding what's going on. And remember, all of the African spirituality and science is based on what? It's based upon basically the observation of nature, or the observation of certain things. Just like Dr. Sebi, take Dr. Sebi for example. Dr. Sebi, all he did was talk about the things that, basically have been here for literally, 50,000 years. The same thing with the natives who were here in America, the natives who were in Australia, the natives who were in Central and South America, and all of the native people. They practice what? They practice healing. All right, but they didn't have there were no pharmaceutical companies. And listen to, like, for example, okay, so when a pharmaceutical company, this is like one of the running jokes, right? They put out a drug or a medicine that's supposed to help you, but it's got 100,000 side effects, including something that'll kill you, or when you get older, it'll at least, make you unable to function in the proper context of being human. So when you look at it, all of these things were already in existence. They were on the earth. So basically, all we have to do is find out what they were. Even the Bible, it talks about it. Go to Revelation. Go to the last book of Revelation. It talks about all of the trees and all the plants and everything. They're what? For the healing of the nations. What is that talking about? That's what I'm saying. Look, you gotta stop thinking. Everybody thinks about this stuff in like this, Gregorian chants, playing, and it's all, But you have to think about it from a practical standpoint. What is it trying to tell you? So meditation, alchemy. That's what alchemy is. People thought, the reason why they used, alcohol or whatever, the reason why they drank alcohol or smoked marijuana or did any of that was what? It was a form of healing. It wasn't about, it wasn't until the Europeans came along that all of a sudden now it's like, I just got to get so high or whatever. That was never what it was used for. Even in the Caribbean, when the guys smoked marijuana, they smoked marijuana and meditated and went inside, not outside. It wasn't about finding out what's going on here. It's about finding out how you relate to the universe and all of the things that are in the universe. How do I relate to them? What is my purpose for being here? Why was I created? And some people, they go deep into this, and that's why they're more successful. It has nothing to do, and everybody is basically that's the other thing I try to tell everybody. Everybody is basically equal, or have the ability, or like the Christ, Christ, or however you want to say it. The Christ energy has nothing to do with an invented man named Jesus. It has to do with your crown chakra. It's talking about how your crown chakra exists and how did it exist, and what do you have to do to get there. Because everybody has the ability to be able to get to that crown chakra. Everybody. So in a way, it's kind of true, but it's basically, it's a metaphor. The 7, and look at the number 7, the seventh seal. Who has the ability to open the seventh seal? Who can do it? And it's talking about, can you open your crown chakra? There's nothing evil. There's nothing demonic. There's nothing satanic about any of that stuff. But, but over the years, everybody is like, this is pagan, or this is a cult, or this is this and that. Not true. Because people have been surviving. Look, if people survived 50,000 years before there was ever any mention of Jesus or anything like that, how did the world exist? And then all these theories about, he was already here. No. It's like, come on. It's like, really? You believe that? You really believe that? Think about it. And you believe in, just like the doing away with what I've been talking about of the female energy, making it into a patriarchal society, and all of that, and getting rid of the female. And all of this kind of stuff. That's how come we have all of this perversion, because it's perversion against what? Against nature. Or to say, you guys worship the sun, so you're evil. We don't worship the sun. We just realize that the sun is the only true and faithful thing, because it rises in the east, it sets in the west, it covers the 4 corners of the earth, it walks on the water. Think about it. Don't just say, you're evil, or you're this, that, and the other thing, but it's true. It's the only true and faithful thing. It happens every day, on a consistent basis. Same thing with the seasons, and I can show you where all that stuff exists, even in the Bible, because they stole it. Anyway, I gotta go. Like button, subscribe button, share button, love button. Hit the love button. I love you.